another week has gone by, and here we are. Yeah, Coach Dave, Accordion Cool. The reason I know that is I got a sign here that tells me. All right, well, that first tune, we actually no real theme today, just, little dealer's choice. And that first tune called C Jam Blues, C Jam Blues. Now, C Jam Blues in the whole song is only 2 different notes. Well, of course, we try to take care of that as best we can, and it was a Duke Ellington tune from 1942. Now, Duke Ellington was my favorite of all the big bands. They all had great players, but Duke and a fellow named Billy Strayhorn wrote a lot of great tunes, and of course that was one of them. Now, C Jam, that indicates that it's played in the key of C. Well, the young man that has sat right over here several times, Corey Pesatoro. Nah, Corey does it in B-flat, so it's the B-flat Jam Blues. So today it's C Jam Blues, C Jam Blues. Now, this next tune came from 1961, came from a movie. The movie was called Breakfast at Tiffany's, written by Henry Mancini. Now, as you well know, Coach Dave doesn't play waltzes. Waltzes are fine, they're nice, they're pretty, all that good stuff. But, you just can't, do anything really crazy with them. So anything that's ever been a waltz that I play, I just changed it to 4/4 time. It's simple as that. And I guess this song also won an Academy Award. It's called Moon River. Now, I was on a gig quite some time ago, and one of the women who worked in the establishment came up and she says, can you play Moon River? And I says, I can, but you may not like the way I do it. She says, oh, I'll like it no matter what. And I did, and she did, and everything was happy. So here's 1961 Little Moon River. Moon River, Coach Dave style, Coach Dave style. Well, this next tune, written by a fellow named Willie Nelson. You all know Willie Nelson, right? Great songwriter, country musician, country singer. Willie wrote this tune in 1961. He met Patsy Cline's husband in an establishment that sold alcoholic beverages, shall we say, one night, and he asked him, could you, just see if Patsy would like to record this tune. She hated it. She hated it. But as they say, cooler heads prevailed, and in my opinion, whatever that means, this is the greatest country tune ever written. Now, Patsy Cline recorded this, shortly before her tragic death in a plane crash, and there was a wonderful country music Hall of Fame, a museum in Nashville, and you don't even have to be a country fan to appreciate it. And there's one room totally dedicated to Patsy Cline, and this song is on the tape, constantly playing, a little tune called Crazy. Now, I was doing a gig a few years ago. I don't know why this actually comes to mind. I think I was in Germantown, Tennessee, or some foolish place, and I'm playing this tune, and the fellow walks by and he points at me and he says, "Crazy." Now, I don't know if he was talking about the tune or me, but then he walked away. So here's a little Crazy. Crazy. Like I said, I think that's the greatest country song ever written. Okay, 1937. There was a songwriting duo And they wrote a lot of great tunes. Rodgers and Hart. Richard Rodgers wrote the music, and Lorenz Hart wrote the words and the lyrics. In 1937, they wrote this particular tune. A lot of people recorded it. Frank Sinatra, that's who it was. His recording was probably the most popular. Now, you know, poor Frank. I mean, Frank tried so hard to be cool, but I mean, Frank just wasn't cool. The name of this song is "The Lady is a Tramp." Not for Frank. With Frank, it's "The Chick is a Tramp." Huh? Is that cool? Oh, poor Frank. Poor Frank. He tried. He really did. So let me see if I can push the right buttons, and we'll see what happens with this. Okay. The lady or the chick is a tramp. That old lady or young lady, I guess. I'm sorry, that chick is a tramp. Yeah. Keep Frank happy. Well, this next tune is kind of interesting. 1956. Actually, 1950 it was written. And the recording that got all the attention that everybody remembers, et cetera, was in 1956 by a fellow named Prez, P-R-E-Z, Prez Prado. and he played trumpet. In the very beginning, he starts the song and bends a note. Oh, I can't do that on accordion. But if you remember any songs from that era, you probably remember that. And this was sort of like the first cha-cha. That was about the time that the cha-cha was really getting into vogue. And this is probably the first song that was actually written and played as a cha-cha. And it's called Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White. I'll try not to turn this thing off now. All right, we're getting down towards the end of our time, and our last tune has a very interesting story. It was written in 1925 by a fellow named Ben Burney. Ben Burney had a big jazz band in 1925. The inspiration for the story was he met a gentleman in New York and had a conversation with him. The gentleman's name was Mr. Brown, and he was from Georgia. And he was a member of the Georgia legislature. Now, around 1911 or so, he was about to have a baby. Well, not him, his wife. And the legislature passed an amendment that he had to name his little daughter after the state of Georgia. And, of course, that's how he got Sweet Georgia Brown, and Ben Burney was the first person to record it. And this determines whether or not you're a music fan or an athletic fan, because this is the song that the Harlem Globetrotters do all their warm-ups to. So, Little Sweet Georgia Brown. Sweet Georgia Brown. Yeah. Well, that's our show for today. Well, thank you all for watching, listening, tuning in, however it is you get this little extravaganza. And it's good to see our friend Richard back again after he was back last time after being under the weather for a while. And he's got 2 weeks in a row now, so keep it going, Richard. And, of course, the big guy behind the glass. As I've said many, many times, if I sound good, it's up to him. If I sound bad, it's the instrument. So as I've always said, not always say, but sometimes, bring the youngins in. Let them hear these tunes. Unless they're a basketball fan, they probably haven't heard any of the tunes I did today. So let's take it home. Oh, I guess... a little more sweet Georgia Brown. What the heck?